How excited are you? Are you excited, Scott?
I'm pretty excited.
You know what else I'm excited about besides Sorcerer King?
What's that?
Ashes at the Singularity, which is totally a thing that I was in LA demoing on
This
a big
again.
stage in front of so many people.
Like, hey, check this out.
Thanks to our wonderful partners at AMD,
Oh.
brought us out to LA, let us show off our game. New RTS that Oxide's
Pretty
making.
cool. You guys, you nailed it. It looked great. Like, no, all joking aside, I finally got around to watching it the other day, and it looks so good. Like, it's the smoke trails for me.
Yeah, the smoke
it's such a
trails are
silly
awesome.
thing, but when you can fill those smoke trails, like, it means something to have that kind of volume in your particles. So
It's nice.
it's a little thing, but it's great. It's looking real good.
Anyway, I'm just very excited about that. Wanted to show it off a little bit. That's Ashes. You can check it out at ashesgame.com, become a founder, all that. I've actually been I'm trying to get my brain back into Sorcerer King mode because I've spent all day submerged in spreadsheets
You're
doing
in
Ashes
numbers
balancing.
upon numbers. Though we have been in number hell too in Sorcerer
That's true.
King.
That's true.
Lots
So,
of numbers.
Now that we're done with my shameless plugging, why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on?
Talk about little old Sorcerer King.
This little other game that we have.
Yeah.
We call it Sorcerer King.
Doesn't use your fancy DirectX 12. Sorry.
This is the finest, the finest DX9 rendering
Yes.
that you'll find in all the land. I don't know. Sorcerer King looks great. Like,
Yeah,
I really like it. It really came
I'm
together.
amazed by what the artists have been able to do. Like every time I bring it up, I'm like, man, it reminds me of did you ever play Metroid Prime?
I played the heck out of Metroid.
So
Prime.
that came out around the same time as Halo, and Halo,
Yeah.
I mean, had spec maps, had all this new tech, but Metroid Prime was able to hold its own, and
Oh,
all
it
the
looks so
reviews
good.
are just like, it's amazing what good art direction does.
Yes.
And I have to say, the art team has done a phenomenal job
Yes.
with Sorcerer King. Doing, we're DirectX 9, we don't have all the fancy tools, but it still looks great.
No, it really
in my
does.
mind,
And it runs really well, which I appreciate.
and that's
Like,
huge.
so you can play it on a very modest machine. Anyway, but we have been hard at work
Yes.
on doing some things. Like we've been
We're
talking
doing
about
things.
We've been talking about pacing and balance and things for so
All talk.
long.
It's
Like,
been all talk.
It's kind of ridiculous how much breath Scott and I have wasted talking about.
But
polish and
we
balance.
finally got to the wizard tree.
We did,
and that's feeling good.
Yeah, and you guys have that now, obviously.
Yeah.
But the big thing that Scott just checked in, a huge, giant
Balance pass.
pass on the wandering monsters and layers.
Yes.
Right. So layers now.
Not all of them. I mean, we're trying to. The thing about pacing is you don't want to go. It's really tempting to go, whole hog.
Right.
And say, okay, we're gonna change this and this and this, and then you boot it up, and it's all the crap, and then you're tempted to roll back. So we're just trying to. We did a lot of changing, but it's mostly on the bandit side, so like the barbarians, and trying to figure out where they fit in, how big they should get, where their strength should be topping off at, and when it should be topping off,
And just getting more interesting. Like there was one of the problems that we had is that we had this big sort of this plateau that you hit, right? Where all of a sudden, okay, nothing really gets any more challenging until you're going to start taking on the harder garrisons and the lieutenants.
Yeah.
But you could just roll everything else, right? And it just stayed there forever because we had layers that weren't leveling up to level 3 until like turn 240 or something. And
even then they only went up like another 10.
Not even 10 in some cases. It was like 2 battle range.
it was really rough. There's some, again, going back to the numbers, like it's all about those numbers, and our numbers were kind of off on a lot of that stuff. So,
but the good news is,
now we have stuff checked in where you got a lot of cool different battles. Pikemen. When you come up against mounted guys, you better have a pikeman or 2 in your party.
because a lot of those guys got a ton more hit points.
Yeah,
which is huge.
Yeah, too much one hitting.
Yes.
In the old builds, and so it's gonna be a little tougher. But on the flip side, we're slowly eating into that lull. We're chipping away at it. So
and there's more plans of stuff going on.
Lots
I think
more going on
as well before the dreaded, celebrated, terrifying 1.0.
Yes, it's coming.
It's coming.
The march is, it's visible in the distance at this point.
Yep,
So
it is looming, as it were.
Let me just go through a couple of the big check-ins.
Sure.
We'll be throwing this change out log up soon, but we got a fix in for garrison layers. So one of the big problems, the SK was actually looking at the garrison units and stuff that were spawned in the world, and assuming and factoring them into the units that he had, whereas I think a lot of us had assumed that those were treated separately from the ones that he was spawning. So anyways, he wasn't able to spawn as much units as he thought because he looked at the world and said, "Oh, I got a bunch of guys spawned." So
which had the side effect of Shards really not being in danger because he just and you weren't in danger because he just wasn't spawning. He was like spawning an order of magnitude fewer dudes than he should have been. Mm-hmm. So that's
Brad fixed that. At higher threat levels, the SK will send a mega stack out to take your city. So he'll pop up, say, "Hey, you're a beehole. I'm gonna come get you," and he sends out a stack. And what's fun about that is I don't know how many of you have been around for all the streams, but we had a stream 4 months ago.
It was a while ago,
where we were trying to deal with this uber stack of SK units. I think it was spawned from the garrison, but there was a lot of fun to be had on the defensive end. Going, I see this guy coming. What can I do? Like
it was like plop an outpost next to him. Let's cast freeze or tremor or whatever it was.
To
like immobilize the army.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're suddenly put in a situation where you have to react, and that's one of the side effects of going to fight the Sorcerer King is that for a lot of the games you're in control. You're in the driver's seat. The exploration phase, he's not really attacking. You're kind of buddies, so you get to go out there and explore. It's fun. It's nice to explore. But later game, we really wanted to put the pressure on you. So instead of going, "Oh, okay, I'm powerful enough now. I'll go fight the Sorcerer King." Right. So this puts you in the hot seat.
Would you load up the game so I don't have to stare at the screen anymore?
Oh my god!
I know. It's a problem. This stupid video future. So much easier when it's just podcasts, right? And not even podcasts, just blog posts. Anyway, did you have some more stuff you wanted to go through?
Yeah, really quick. Working on trade with miners interaction. Okay, Gallows Rise. There we go. Working on trade with miners interaction, so you can actually go and talk to them. I have 2,000 flawless irons. What can you give me for it? Type thing. So that way, there are times when it's like I really need a last breath. I can't, but I'm not powerful enough to go get one. So
and that'll be is that it being processed kind of where we landed?
I don't know. Brad ended up doing his own take on it.
Okay.
So I say that as in I don't know what he did. Okay. He's like, "Oh, I'll take it from here," type thing.
Sure. Man, we're getting the double shard spawn start a lot.
Yes, and I think that I have a feeling what's going on is there is code that says when you put down your first city, put a shard
next to it.
And I think that there's data-driven stuff that says, "Oh, this resource should spawn X number near your city." So I think that we're heavy-handing it here with this code, and then we're data-driving something here. So I don't know. It needs to be fixed because this is lame.
Well, it's not lame. It's
super awesome, but I would prefer. I would prefer not to do that. Really quick, Volcano Spell was fixed. That was an issue. So now you can plop that on all kinds of stuff, including miners,
and they'll interact with you properly.
Buckles will, Buckles wrote up some awesome text for when you declare war that way.
Yep.
Tons of balance fixes, and big one. Enchanting list will no longer snap to the top as you add items.
I'm so excited about that.
I
did a priest playthrough the other day. It was actually over the weekend, and I got really strong, and that was the game that I totally demolished the game and won with 0 Doomsday on hard.
Yeah, that was
124 or something.
That was super embarrassing. I got that.
We have fixed that balance issue that I was exploiting there.
Yeah.
But the point is that I had so much stuff to enchant because I had like 6 heroes. 6 heroes, 5 heroes, 6 heroes, and like 5 units with them, all loaded up and enchanted to the gills, and like getting that set up was just such a pain.
Yeah.
Because every time it's like I have to scroll down through my giant inventory because I found all this stuff because I've like basically full cleared this medium map, right? Scroll down past all the inventory, select the thing, and then find the enchantment that I want. But then both of those lists snap to the top every time. You guys have probably encountered that if you've done some late game stuff.
Oh, it's rough.
Just super annoying. So anyway,
rough.
so Johnny got that fix in. And
Yes.
I'm super excited about it.
Yep.
By the way, I don't endorse.
What am I doing?
Abusing what I was abusing.
Oh, the double shards.
No, the mana berry into the light situation.
That got fixed.
I know.
Oh.
I know. Well, it's not fixed for players quite yet. So you can go have some fun with that if you want to win with 7,000 mana on turn 121 in Zero Doomsday. That's the way to do it. I do love Into the Light as a design though. Like it's a really neat. If you haven't played with it, that's the priest starts with the spell. It's a priest only spell that does a small amount of damage. It's like 4+1 per shard or 3+1 per shard or something.
Yeah.
But if it it costs no mana. But if it is the killing blow, you get 3+1 per shard mana. Yeah. Right now it's 4 per shard, which is insane.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
sorry.
saying
I'm sorry.
Now in public.
This is. It's been a very busy 2 weeks.
It has.
It's all blurring together right now.
Yeah, and you guys have been putting in a little extra time and all that kind of stuff. So
let's see.
So anyway, you can do that and be ridiculous like me. And I mean, it was pretty amusing, but ultimately a little too strong. All right.
There's a bug.
Uh-oh.
Look at this guy hopping around.
What?
Look at him go.
Woo. What are you bugging about? Yeah, he looks like he's moving. Why is that a bug?
No, he's not, but he's not animating.
Oh, I think I have fast unit moves on.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, quick move. Under
oh, my God.
I always play with that on. It saves me so much time.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I blow through games, man. Like, I play fast. I play fast.
As an animator.
Dude, oh my God, our animations are so slow. Our animations are so slow. Have you ever attacked something with a rider at normal speed? It takes like 18 seconds. I might be exaggerating, but it takes a long time.
Yeah, that's a lot of seconds.
I don't have that. I don't have that time, Scott.
I gotta move. I got stuff to do.
I got murdering to get to. All right. Yeah. So the CW says when you can keep the Doomsday counter low until the end of the game, the SK forces don't become stronger, which is an issue. So that's something that we are well aware of, and that's actually being fixed on a couple levels. So the first level is that shards are going to be a lot more in danger because there's going to be a lot more SK units out there. So you're going to lose more shards. Like right now, like I didn't lose a shard in that hard playthrough, which is ridiculous. So that's going to happen. So that's going to drive the Doomsday. The second thing is, well, 3 things really. Second thing is we decoupled monster level and strength and army strength from the Doomsday counter. That's actually tied to turn counter now. So even if you do keep the Doomsday counter low, the game gets significantly harder than it would have earlier because you could kind of trap the SK in this like wussy spiral or this like wussy kind of pool where he couldn't get the Doomsday up, which meant his armies weren't getting stronger, which meant he wasn't casting any more spells, which meant he couldn't kill any shards. Like it was kind of this bad spiral that he was in. So anyway, so we're fixing that. And then in general, the game's just a lot more. It is a little bit harder now than it was. I think the consensus was that it was kind of too easy across the board. And so that's happening.
It may be a little too hard now. Like
it might be. I don't know.
It's just a balance. It's how hard do we want the first couple of turns to be? I would say we kind of want it to ease.
The like turns less than 20. Like Scott made the destroyers the like mounted barbarian dudes. Got like double the attack and triple the hit points for like a night.
For a little bit, yeah. That didn't last long.
The team, everybody was doing a play test, and we're playing it, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't actually leave my capital because there are wolves and barbarians everywhere." So anyway, that got fixed.
Sorry about
that. That was only the case for like an hour. I think. So anyway, so it's absolutely a valid concern. But there's a kind of a multifaceted answer there. Using healing potions on Sir Dingus, man, I don't know about that.
I'm gonna save him.
He's just, I used to play like that because I love the guys because he doesn't cost logistics, right, which is awesome. But he's like a single figure soldier. He is arguably the weakest unit you could ever have in your army.
Already,
unless you like hypnotized a single figure Darkling.
Yeah.
And so I just don't bother. He dies in like the first or second combat because I just don't even care. It's like he spends his life keeping my wolf alive a little bit longer because I like the wolf because Howl is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have anything else before questions? I'm sorry. I got ranty.
Ask away.
I got ranty.
Ask away.
All right. Adam, tell Scott I really like the new particle effect of Keplin's standard attack. Did he get a new particle?
I don't know if he did.
I mean, his attack looks good. He's got the like fireball kind of shot.
I totally forget.
Oh, all right. Well,
awesome.
Anyway, it
very
looks
cool.
Yeah. My favorite graphic in Sorcerer King lately is the Dark Spread and Arcane Spread, which are two differently colored versions of the same effect. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I like those.
I like those a lot.
We added before in the LH engine, we only had like particles that went straight.
Oh,
and so our big addition here is they can be arced and they can go crazy, but it feels good. Like there's something about like that wild magic.
Yep. Yep. No, I totally
for those of us who like animation, but I'm sure you could turn it off, Adam, if you ever.
Or at least make it go viral.
Yeah, just hurry up. Come on. Yeah. Volcano coming out of the ground. I get it. Kaboom.
I was harvesting giant swaths of forests and mountains because I had a gajillion mana.
Oh.
And so I would actually do it while it was in the fog so that I didn't have to watch the particle.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, cool particle.
It is a sweet particle, but I mean, when you're casting it like 15 times a turn,
which
understand. Is not really intended, and generally you don't have that much mana. I mean, I had thousands and thousands of mana. It was silly. Anyway, so moving on. Will scouts still be attacked by everything in sight 100% of the time?
That hasn't been fixed, but we need to fix that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, that's on our
super
that's on our list.
Yeah, it's super annoying. Now, scouts will still occasionally get attacked, even when it's fixed, because if like wandering monsters don't have a particular target in mind or in sight, they'll move randomly, and sometimes that random movement will attack your scout.
You got to be a little careful, but in general, you can
get away with a lot more than you currently can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now they literally target you. They will converge.
So that's getting fixed. Let's see. Can we explain how the end score is calculated and on what the score is based?
Oh man, that's a Brad and Charles question.
Yeah.
Sorry guys.
It's actually like really complicated.
I saw the math and I tried to unsee the math. I'm like, I don't need that in my brain.
It's like staring into like
you stare into the void and it stares back type situation. Like, okay.
Yep. So, all right. Let's see. Got some compliments from some people out of the chat, from Omayo 1970 and from A0152570 and everybody. And thank you for the compliments. It's very kind.
Summons are useful now.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you.
They are no longer 9 HP apiece.
That was
balance for the win.
Wait
a sec, something's up here.
I wrote this big like 10-page document or something based on the playthroughs I did over the weekend, and one of them was like, okay, seriously, summons need to be like half the cost and 3 times as good, or I will never cast them.
At least 3 times as good
because they were so bad. Anyway, so they're much better now. But the bear costs like 5 mana, and he's like a pretty decent sized bear, which is pretty legit. I mean, it feels like useful things to spend your mana on, and you have to spend a unit turn summoning them, right? Yeah. So, I mean, they feel a lot better now, and I don't know if they might have been overtuned. We'll see. We got to play with it a bit.
Man, look at that mana.
What mana are you? Oh my God, what happened?
I don't know, but there's a camera in the way, so I didn't realize. How can I spend that?
Well, because you're playing wizard, right?
I'm playing the wizard, so I got 10.
You got an extra hondo, right? But
I got 100. I start off at 100.
Right. So you got an extra hondo, but where did the other 3 hondo come from? Did somebody change that so the wizard starts with like 400? That would be silly.
No. I'm getting 4 per turn, and
you're on like turn.
Oh golly.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
Anyway, so we'll fix that.
Yeah, where did that come from? Okay.
So let's see. Oh, this is a good question. This is actually a thing that came up on the forums, and I didn't follow up on it because I got really busy with some other SK and some other Ashes stuff. But Darian Starfire says, Adam, you asked on the post, somebody wrote, one of our users, Natasan, wrote a really big feedback thing, which is awesome.
Yes.
And we've actually been getting really, really great feedback out of the community.
Yeah, actually,
lately, which we really appreciate.
Yeah, that's so awesome to be able to like. What's great, really quick. What's really nice is looking at the feedback, and we can kind of do this. You know, you can imagine laying them all on top of one another and saying, "Oh, this is oh, everybody's talking about this. This is obviously something we need to deal with," and it helps to prioritize. Stuff. So thank you very much.
No, super helpful. So anyway, so Natasha wrote this great post, and where he really disliked, and somebody else had agreed with him, probably the Darian Starfire out of the chat here, where these people were really annoyed at Pioneer spam. They felt like the game really hit this point where you're just making tons of Pioneers all the time, sending them out. And my question is, so when I play, usually the only outposts I build are around shards that I want to capture, or occasionally another resource, but usually shards. Usually I need my logistics for armies, and otherwise, so I just go after shards. And I was wondering, like, are other people building like a kind of a perimeter around their empire of outposts to help with defense?
I do.
Because you do.
I do.
And some other people do. And so the Pioneer spam never really bothered me because I just plunk a bunch of level 1 outposts out around to go capture shards. But yeah, I could totally see it if it's like, man, I got these like 6 outposts I want to put out and then level those up. And it's, it's what, 4 Pioneers per outpost to... Because it's like
it's 1 and then 3. Yeah. So 4 total.
If you want to level them up to max. So like I could totally see where that would be a ton of Pioneers. It would be super annoying.
So here's my take, because I am one of the guys that will set up the perimeter. I go through phases where it's like, okay, I'm building improvements, I'm building units. Okay, I'm just going to focus on setting up my perimeter. I'm feeling pretty good about the state of my kingdom. I don't have a bunch of guys coming in and attacking me. So because of roads, I can basically, every time the screen pops up, what do you want to build? I pick Pioneer, and I just send it to whatever one I'm leveling up, and they get there in 2 turns. And then, like 10 turns later, I go, okay, I'm going back into defensive and infrastructure mode. So
interesting.
That's how I mentally organize it. And it's not so bad that way. I mean, I totally understand anytime you can cut down micromanagement, because it's micromanagement. Right. But if there were more things that could utilize that kind of system, I'd be more concerned. But because it's just the Pioneer spam, it's just the price we pay, I guess.
Genius as me suggests let each outpost level let each level take another logistics point. That would be brutal.
That's
that would just
evil.
That would be brutal. I think they did at one point.
They may have
like way early, like back in alpha.
I thought
that ends up just really punishing anybody who wants to play that way. Like I personally don't find the strategy that useful anyway. So I would not want to like disincentivize outposts as a defense any more than they currently kind of are. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess to my view, like, there's not really an easy way to fix there's not really an easy like UI way to fix it, right?
Yeah. My thought was maybe make a
request
Uber
Pioneer.
I was going to say an Uber Pioneer that plunks it down and you get
plunks down to level 4.
Plunks down to level 4. And that takes 6 turns. It always takes 6 turns, and
you could. That would solve that.
But
then it's like we're making another unit and all this other stuff. And then
it's a lot of work to solve this one problem.
And I guess to my mind, the better way to solve it would be to make it not something that you feel compelled to do. I guess so, like to make it so that like, well, I could do this, but that's not really a good use of my time or my resources. So I'm not gonna to encourage, more fun gameplay and discourage unfun gameplay. Which I guess to my mind, again, like I don't find the strategy that strong. So I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you get those up to like 8 HP
per turn,
and that's so if they walk through a radius of 4,
they take a ton of damage.
It's a pretty good system.
Sure. People are asking for a build queue again, which is a sorry, I don't mean to dismiss your requests, folks. It's a topic that has been discussed a lot. ultimately, like, Brad has kind of come down on the side of, like, he doesn't want a build queue because of reasons that escape me at the moment. I think it just
basically
has to do with,
just comes down to the fact that logistics
are such a thing.
There's such a funnel for everything. You only have so many things to, and it's like, I love logistics. I find myself really looking forward to, especially in early game, like, I'm building a town hall. I'm about to get 4 logistics. What am I going to spend it on?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically our choice currency.
Right.
And I love that system. And it kind of incentivizes, really thoughtful.
Every time you build something,
you got to think about it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to spam out these.
I can see the argument on both sides. Like, I mean, if I was the God King of Sorcerer King, I'd probably argue for a queue. I'd probably like hide it behind an option or something so that, new players didn't get trapped. Because you could totally screw yourself. You could totally screw yourself by like, oh, I'm going to build this and this and this and this and this. And it's going to take your city 50 turns to get through the whole thing if it's not a great city.
It's like the moment there's a queue, then you need a queue management system.
Yeah, so like it can be a little bit of a newbie trap in Sorcerer King because what each city builds is very important because you don't have very many of them, generally speaking, especially early. So I don't know. I mean, I don't find it that burdensome. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice for advanced players, but I don't find it that bad. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's up there with ranged weapons for me. Like it's asked for
the range and cover and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's something that's requested, and I think it's requested because it's in other games.
It's a little bit of one of those but everyone does this. So why do you do that? It's like, well, we do actually kind of have reasons for not doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. I do totally understand the request, but ultimately, it's a little bit of like we're not totally sold on that it's right for the game, and that would take effort away from doing something else that we do feel is more important to the game. So, that's kind of where we're at on queues. I mean, if you want them, you can always agitate for them on the forums because, as Scott said, we absolutely do read the forums, and so if enough people want them, we might end up caving because that happens.
Really, it would be Brad caving.
Well, yes. So, okay. This is actually a really good point. In the current version, ogre armies are spawning everywhere, making it very easy to get ogre blood. I haven't actually had that experience, but I've been playing on internal. So that might be the case in 5.3.
I don't know. We'll have to look into it. Right now,
we're doing a lot of changing to kind of where layers are spawning and how they spawn.
I think layers are spawning just a little too much in general right now. I think Brad's actually looking into bringing down the number of layers. It's so random. I mean, we can look into some of the variables, but in general, I don't think they're weighted any differently than anything else. So maybe just be a luck thing.
Sure. Because definitely you don't want to have too many ogres because ogre blood is crazy freaking good.
Yeah. It's true.
Both for warrior spirits, the XP potion, and for giving crazy HP to your units. Yeah. I tend to use it more for HP. Like I've actually found that I find enough warrior spirits, generally speaking, to level up the dudes that I really care, like the heroes that you get later. Yeah. But I also like to ask my allies for potions.
Okay. Okay, and that tends to
that's
be
one of them
things.
That comes up a lot. Yep. So, so that works out for me. Anyway, Molto Benny is trolling us that if we don't put a Q in, we'll get a 5 out of 10 from Explorminate, which would be hilarious because if we I tell you what, if we get a 5 out of 10 from Explorminate, we should just pack it up and like just go into it's. We're all going to become insurance salesmen or something.
Man, I love it whenever somebody asks a question. Our bros are right there. Like it's really awesome to have.
And we don't mean that as like as any kind of like knock on their reviewing or anything because that's a sensitive topic sometimes. But just that this guy Explorminate.
I feel pretty confident about.
He's been very excited about the game for a long time, and we appreciate that very much. So anyway,
we have great fan for SK. Oh, it's actually been kind of difficult to stay focused on like what needs to be done because you look at it and I mean we got notes from Brad. He's like, this is a really fun game. We see it from outside. People are having a lot of fun, and it's like no, the pacing's off. Like, please don't.
Yeah.
And every time I see another person who's like giving the thumbs up, it's like maybe we're closer than we think. So I'm excited. I'm just excited.
We are. Like, I mean, I played like 12 hours of Sorcerer King this weekend, not because like I was required to by my job, but because, and I mean, I wanted to, and it was helpful for the job because it resulted in this giant ass feedback document. But I mean, I spent that time because I was having fun playing. Yeah. So I mean, it really is fun, and it's. I mean, it's very classic. Like, game design is really easy to get lost in the weeds. Yeah. And lose the forest for the trees. Not that it's bad that you guys that we're all internally worried about pacing and worried about the difficulty plateaus and stuff like that. But it is important also to remember.
At the end of the day, it's the sum of its parts,
right,
and it really is coagulating into something that's a lot of fun. So.
We had a question in the chat from Evil Lego 6. Is this game in the same setting as Falling Enchantress? It is the same world. It is some hundreds of years later after the Sorcerer King. It's basically, the idea is, okay, the Allies won the war in Legendary Heroes, right? Which is a sequel to Falling Enchantress. So, hooray, we won. Unfortunately, a couple hundred years after that, this dude named Murdoch found Kurgan's Bane, which is, God, this I hate myself for even going through the lore in this detail, and I kind of hate myself that I know it, but it is my job to know it. So anyway, I just feel like I just should be pushing up my glasses.
Nerd.
Yeah, seriously. Let me get my pocket protector. I do work at a video game company.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the point is, so this dude named Murdoch found Kurgan's Bane, which is this like super powerful artifact, and it kind of corrupted him, whatever. Also gave him great power, right? It's basically, it's definitely not, yeah, anyway. So he is now the Sorcerer King. He basically just blew up civilization because he's got this like crazy magical power.
Took out all the other sovereigns.
You're the only one that's left, Galore, because you had the Forge of the Overlord. Which is like basically this like pocket dimension with all this magical power, blah, blah, blah. So he couldn't actually kill you, but he did tear down your empire. So you're left with this one city that you're able to protect with the Forge of the Overlord. And now the Sorcerer King is trying to basically blow up all the shards to harvest their magic so that he can cast this super doom spell that turns everybody in the world into into magical fuel that he gets. You got to take Acrobat, man. It's so good. You love Poison Dart though, which is like wrong.
It's not wrong. It is
so wrong.
Every level. No, I was hitting at level 12 poison damage per round. That's hot. Whatever.
12 poison damage per round does nothing for me.
You don't
take the metal. Take the shard so that you can get up and take that ridiculous fertile land next. Enchanted lands. 251 is absurd. Anyway, so the point is that the Sorcerer King is a bad guy. He's trying to destroy the world. You're trying to stop him. And how you do that is basically by building up a stack of doom and going and kicking down the gates of his fortress and fighting him in this big, apocalyptic battle at the end of the game. So that's the really long-winded version of what Sorcerer King is, I guess. It's, to our mind, it's Sorcerer King. It's like, it's this, it's a 4X, but it's got a lot more RPG in it than
it's asymmetrical.
I'm never gonna get away from that. It is asymmetrical for the record.
It is. It is. It's, speaking of pocket protectors. Well, technically.
Oh man. And somebody called me the comic book guy in the chat, and I actually in my mind it's a lot more the scientist dude, Farnsworth or whatever, the like with the big Coke bottle glasses. Anyway, we could move on. Far Strider says, I wish they would further expand upon Legendary Heroes. It's the best 4X out there in his opinion, which is very kind. Thank you. I mean, I don't think that LH is dead.
No.
We love Legendary Heroes. Derek loves Legendary Heroes.
Yeah.
There's definitely, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I really like Legendary Heroes. Legendary Heroes probably is the number one reason why I work at Stardock, actually. I really like Legendary Heroes. I like to taunt Derek about being bad at his game because I play that game at a way higher level than he does, which is amusing. But he doesn't like get super into himself when he plays. He doesn't get super into like really trying to game the system and figure out like, oh, if I put this weapon with this, whatever, and that's like what I do. That's like my jam. That's how I beat, Sorcerer King with 0 Doomsday and 7,000 mana. I love it. So anyway. Multo Benny says, the nice thing about SK is that if you want the world to be destroyed, you can win really quickly. Yeah. That's very true. So all right. What else we got going on?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to pay attention to battle ranks right now and formations.
Are you frozen or is my XSplit frozen?
What? I'm cool.
You're cool? Crap. Yeah. My XSplit may have imploded. Uh-oh. We are going to... I have no idea what just happened. XSplit seems to have blown up, and I apologize for that. And Twitch chat blew up for me, too. Like my window that I have Twitch open in. So I don't know what in the world just happened. I apologize for that.
Sorry, guys. It's amateur hour over on that side of the street.
Yeah. I'm losing at Twitch harder, or at XSplit harder than Scott is losing at Sorcerer King for once.
Am I losing? I don't feel like I'm losing.
So if you had a question in the chat, I had to reload my chat, so I lost it. So if you need to, or if you want me to answer it, or you want Scott to answer it, drop it back in the chat. So I apologize. Anyway. Multo Benny says, new spell idea, 2 words, summon Servo. I would totally be into that. That would be great. Yes, that's a question. A015, etc. Had a great question in the chat that he has just reposted. Have you fixed Revive Land to not care so much about the terrain type?
Yes.
That was driving me crazy too. Like there are maps where literally you cannot cast.
No, that was
anywhere.
Dumb. It basically ignores. Or you can cast it on the Shadow Vine Forest now. So
okay.
You can basically cast it anywhere in Shadow. You have to clear the area. Like it's got to be empty.
You still have to clear layers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so
it's
not free, but it's definitely castable.
That would be good.
Versus not castable.
Very cool. So archers.
Bam.
I feel like I should say archers are so much better in internal. In the current
are they?
We have. Yes, we have really buffed archers, which really helps, both on the player side and on the enemy side, because archers were really weak.
Yeah.
They had really low initiative
that's right.
and just not enough attack, and they were just kind of pointless. I actually used the heck out of archers in my last playthrough.
Okay, good.
Well, because Rain of Arrows is actually really good if you have archers that have some decent attack. Mm-hmm. Because they can cast it on turn 1. A lot of the AoE stuff has cooldown. It starts on cooldown.
Yeah.
So Rain of Arrows doesn't, which it's really helpful for clearing trash. I actually, like I said, I really like it. Let's see. Explorminate says he was supposed to ask a question about the polish and the pacing, but it sounds like you guys already answered that at the beginning. Yeah, we're just doing a ton of work right now. Like you guys will see a lot of difference. I think you'll be really happy. Like I'm much happier with where the game is at.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things have to be juggled, but at the end of the day, we need goody huts to be interesting further into the game. We need heroes not to get invincible so early, and then the SK needs to make enemies. And apparently he wasn't able to. There was a bug where he couldn't. So
right. So all those, like, I think a little bit, it's like there were a couple bugs and a couple like dumb things that we just never fixed that are all getting fixed at the same time. And the concern is that we're going to make it too hard, because the thing about Sorcerer King is that all those systems interact, right? All those systems kind of come together to make the actual experience and the actual difficulty and the actual pacing. And so we have to be kind of careful and use a light touch.
Tweak it, we're tweaking it, playing it, tweaking it, playing it, and so on and so forth. So
yep. So all right. Let's see. Omayo has a great idea that would require some code, so it probably won't be for 1.0, but it's a good idea for actually like maybe DLC or just a
spit it out. Something. I'm so excited.
A summon spell that brings in a unique beast that you can't get a group with, that like can't go in an army, so it has to be a solo thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, because right now you don't get many guys that are on the map just because like a guy that doesn't cost logistics is
huge,
so powerful.
Yeah,
I mean, that's even a 1 mana cost upkeep is nothing.
Right.
So. Yeah, I like the idea of
cool,
you can bring them on, anything that you can bring on but has another another consequence. Other than oh, that's cool.
That would be neat. And we could do it in a soft way very easily in the data and just give it a buff. You reuse the Varda thing that gives her a big buff when she's alone.
Yeah.
And just give him
make
terrible
he's
useless
just
stats if he's with anybody.
Yeah.
And then make him awesome if he's in an army alone. That's actually a pretty good idea for monster.
Huh.
For like a summon thing.
Good.
Sweet.
I like it.
All right.
I'm taking it. That's my idea. Cool. Okay.
Let's see. Are there any plans to create a range of Sorcerer King personalities or capabilities so you can have a somewhat different opponent game to game? That's something we talked about a lot early. It's something that we wanted to do, or at least some of us wanted to do. I don't know that Brad was ever totally sold on it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like what I was just talking about, where all those systems kind of come together to create the ultimate the final experience or really what the game is. That makes it really, if we touch anything we touch on the Sorcerer King's end instead of on the player's end can have really significant knock-on consequences. So it becomes really difficult to say like, oh, we'll make a more of a caster SK instead of an army SK or something like that. It makes it really tough.
The matrix of possibilities gets huge.
Yeah.
It's exponentially huge.
Yeah, so it's really hard. So what we landed on, and this is, very, very early in design before even development, really. What we landed on was, okay, well, let's make different sovereigns, right? And one of the things that we definitely want to do for the future is like literally different factions that you play as, right? So maybe you could, whether it's the miners that we have now and we blow those out into proper playable factions, or it's brand new factions that we do that have different units, different everything, right? That's something that we want to do. We might end up just doing that through sovereigns, because the sovereign that you pick has huge effects on the game as well. But the point is, ultimately, it's so much safer for us and so much more, and safer not from like
we can just tighten things up a lot better. It can be a much more polished experience rather than we have a lot of things and they all feel kind of flaky versus we can keep it tight.
Right. And the thing is too, like if you think about it, Scott brought up the Matrix, and the Matrix is something we have to deal with as designers all the time. Right. So the Matrix of possibilities right now is like you have 6 sovereigns plus custom. So you have, this, call it 12-ish possibilities, because customs don't get crazy different. And it's mostly in the spell books that you pick. So we call it 12, possible player kind of loadouts, versus 1 SK. If we made a second SK, we have 12 times 2
that we have to.
We make a third. It's 12 times 3. It's it's a multiplication problem, and it just makes it really, really difficult to balance. Whereas we make another sovereign type. Well, now we have 14 times 1 instead of 12 times 2. So it's a lot more reasonable for us to do. So yeah, it's an awesome idea, and we'd love to do it. The different SK personalities or types or whatever, like I said. But
I think what
it's tough.
What we've talked about internally is going towards a system where Derek actually brought up a really cool idea that is basically giving the Sorcerer King his own tech tree, and he works his way down it, right? And so he's picking off, and so his loadout could be different in any game. And at some point, you actually get access to that, so you can see, he's gonna, the final encounter is gonna look like XYZ.
Sure.
I got to make sure I'm ready for it. Or if you don't get access to it, then you go in blind. But basically, a more organic, less. I'm gonna play against this type of Sorcerer King this time, and more work it right into the game itself.
SK is doing this time.
Yeah, so he's he's bobbing and weaving throughout the game based on how you play, and you have to bob and weave based on how his loadout unfolds.
Had another good question from Darian Starfire. He says he was wondering if the small XP game from Juggernaut SK units is intentional. I got more XP from one Darkling than from the 600 HP monstrosity. Yes. Well, no, it's not intentional. Yes, we're gonna fix it.
Yeah. That's.
I think that's on your plate, actually, Scott.
Probably.
Well, we were talking about it yesterday of just a general XP. Like, there's some weirdness.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of the big component in that system is the level. I need to look at the actual equation, but I have a feeling that
it's like a level 15 Darkling. Yeah, it's still really weak.
It's still super weak, but yeah. So it kind of needs to.
That would make sense actually if it's an inherited system because of the way that it used to. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So if you, I think all you need to do is just base it on combat rating, and you'll probably be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally, you could just replace it with. Oh, I guess maybe if it's per unit, it wouldn't make sense. Anyway, that'll get fixed because we agree it's dumb. Let's see. Larson X had a good question. What is the reason for the warning about shards being attacked? The reason is because if shards get blown up, it really sucks.
Yeah, you need to know.
So yeah, it gives you it pops it, so it reveals it on your map, so you can see like in this game there's one in the northeast that has been attacked that Scott hasn't discovered yet, but it pops on his map. If you could scroll over there, Scott.
Here.
What I'm talking about. If you're even listening to me,
I think some guys are coming to destroy me. So
whatever.
Anyways,
you'll be fine.
So this pops up.
Yeah. So that was a shard that's been attacked, and the reason for that, is so when a shard blows up, the Sorcerer King gets notably more powerful. Plus, the Doomsday counter goes up by 25 or 50. 25, I think.
25 was last I checked.
I don't think it's been changed recently. Okay. So the Doomsday goes up by 25, and that has a lot of knock-on effects as well, because as the Doomsday goes up, a lot of other things start to happen. So keeping the shards alive is very important, I guess is the point. So,
right. I was going to say, it's also kind of nice if it pops up nearby, because then, or you were kind of talking about this, I guess, but just having opportunities to reroute the player's attention.
Yeah.
Say, hey, this is really close. You could probably save it if you tried. Whereas you wouldn't have even, if we don't bring that to your attention, you don't even know about it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a lost opportunity for us to force a choice upon the player.
I love Icy Blast, by the way. I like it. I love Icy Blast a lot.
Actually, I don't.
You know what the wizard needs, or possibly Tandis needs? Something that debuffs spell resistance, so that you can use it in combo with hypnotism.
Yeah.
That would be a good combo.
That'd
that would
be nice.
Feel good. It actually would be better on a wizard spell because then it would require a second sovereign cast, so you wouldn't be able to do it right away. Yeah. You'd have to invest in clairvoyance. That would be good. Yeah. Man, I should design games.
Oh, geez.
Bunch of questions from everyone about what is the ETA on the next when people are going to be able to play with this stuff. What is ETA,
jeez.
Scott?
Oh, man. You're supposed to wait till the end.
Well, we're close to the end.
Are we close to the end?
Yeah, we've been on for almost an hour.
Can we wrap it up?
I think we can wrap
it up. Okay. So one more thing. Actually the opt-in for, what is it, 5.4 at this point?
It's 5.4, yeah.
It's going up tonight, maybe in the next hour, I think.
Hopefully.
So
it
you
depends on how shivvy Brian is feeling, I guess.
Oh, he's always so shivvy.
That's true.
But yeah, we want to get these changes out to you guys and get your feedback because it is so crucial at this point. As we make rapid iteration, getting that rapid feedback is awesome.
Yes.
So
super helpful.
Build in your hands tonight, and we're actually
I think you guys are going to be really happy. Like, it's so much better.
Yeah, it feels it's feeling really good.
And mana berries are finally dead.
Mana berries
finally.
That got moved to Demon Horn.
Bitching for months.
Yeah.
About mana berries. It's finally fixed.
So Demon Horns are your new mana on kill thing, and
Sovereign Sword.
Sovereign Sword
is now +2 or
nerfed down to 2 or 3. Yeah,
it's still super.
So it's a little
awesome.
It's still cool.
Yeah,
but it's not so.
Although now you might actually use Pyrobrand over it, because Pyrobrand does a ridiculous amount of damage. Although it got nerfed as well.
It got nerfed too,
but it still does a ton of damage.
Yeah, so
it's still probably the highest single damage weapon that we have.
It does because it hits, and then it also has an effect on it. It has a magical effect.
Right.
That
It
gets
does the fire damage. And
and then if it kills, then it does the tile. So,
So yeah, no, Pyrebrand is awesome. I love Pyrebrand. Oh, you do have some wolves coming for you.
Yeah, but so what are we? 19 turns in, and I can auto resolve against these guys. So
you can or you can't?
I can now.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Can I
Even
auto resolve?
I hate auto resolve. I never use auto
What?
resolve. I never use auto resolve.
It feels so good.
I like doing the combats.
Okay, yeah, auto resolve.
Oh, here actually a couple good questions I want to get to.
Oh, sure.
Lord the Ron is a longtime fan who says he finally managed to join a Twitch session. So welcome, thanks for coming.
Awesome.
He says, "Why are there so few places to settle in the game? I really have to search hard to find a good spot." That is a total thing.
It's totally random. It's super duper random. It's based
RNG.
on some games like here I can settle
That's
over
a freaking nice
here.
spot.
I can settle over
you got 2
here.
spots. Nice.
Let's see if there's a place up here. No. It just every stamp. The world generation is done with stamps,
Which are basically think of them as like Legos that are kind of being put together.
little artist generated chunks of land.
Right.
And some of them are heavy on the fertile lands, some of them are not. We tried to balance it out, but sometimes you just roll a really crappy roll. And
sometimes you have the game that I had the other day where it was literally 2/3 of the map was swamp.
Oh, geez.
And it's like swamp is just pointless because you could do nothing on swamp. You can't build, you can't harvest it. You can't harvest swamp forests for components. Swamp is just terrible. But whatever.
I like to think it adds personality to that game.
It does. No, it totally does.
It changes because right now you can end up landlocked in
oh, dude, I actually had a really great map last night that I wish I could export the seed because I totally want to play it on the new patch. But I was stuck behind the SK on I was far in the northeast, and the SK was just to my southwest, and I was water borders. I had to go through him.
Oh my gosh!
And so it was weird. It was cool because I had one spot to settle, so I settled that and put an outpost for defense, even though I usually don't do that. But because I knew obviously things are going to be coming from here. So I put an outpost for defense and then just blew through as many low research cost spells as I could
to get to the boat,
so I could get to summon ship.
Okay, nice.
And so I got summon ship and then started.
That's what
out. It was actually it was a really
you're put in a situation where you go, how can I use these tools? And we give the user, I think we give them a nice breadth of tools to get out of these situations. And when you figure out how to use them in combination, it's like, that's awesome. So
one thing that would be sweet. Age of Wonders actually added this in a recent patch, and it's really awesome.
We'll steal it.
We'll totally steal it. No, those guys are awesome. I love their game.
Oh yeah.
But a research item that doesn't actually research anything, but what it does is it regenerates your research possibilities.
Oh yeah.
So it's it's fairly cheap.
Yeah.
But it just reshuffles it reshuffles your spell book. I would love that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just
yeah.
I don't want any of you. Or there's something really specific that I'm looking for, like summon ship.
Yeah, I got to wait 2 turns, but I'll get it. Yeah.
So I would actually
like
love
that.
We should totally do that. Yeah. Might be some code though. So
that may be a little code.
Anyway, so let's see. Are 5.3 saves compatible with 5.4? I mean, saves are technically yes.
They're always pretty compatible, but I would say
you probably want to start a new game to get all the stuff.
To get the good stuff, to get a feel for what we're shooting for, because all the I don't know, for anybody who doesn't know, our save games, they're big. They're like multiple megs. They're not gigs, but they hold all the data.
Right.
So they will store.
So you would still, for instance, have the old values for how tough barbarians and stuff are.
Exactly.
And how the layers are
You'd still be playing a 5.3 game.
For the most part.
Yeah.
You'd get the code fixes.
Yeah.
Whatever we got in for code fixes.
So bug fixes, but yeah. If possible, I would really start a new game with the opt-in patch.
Yes, for sure. Weren't you guys doing a little pass on Fertile Land, by the way? Or forcing more settleables?
There's a bug on there's a bug on small maps where sometimes the starting city wouldn't find a place to be put.
Oh, no.
And that actually we didn't get the fix in for it's sitting on my computer right now. I just got to verify it, but it's not going to get it into today's patch. So if you're playing a arena map and it pops up with just clouds, just remake a new map for now.
There you go.
But we will fix it.
Okay.
But that's what I remember talking about.
Fair enough. So, all right. Let's see. What else? Was there anything else? Let's see. Swamp tiles not being able to be outposted is annoying. It is annoying, but it does make swamps a little different, which is good.
I thought, you can do it where there's no trees, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Regular swamp,
okay.
just not swamp forest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Are you guys still pondering extra victory conditions? Pondering, yes. Implementing, no.
Yeah, we kind of shied away from that when we
talked about it a bit.
Yeah, but it's another one of those situations where instead of branching out this matrix, we just want to focus on making the core game as good as possible.
Yeah. So we gave everyone Tower of Mastery. That used to be a tyrant only thing. We decided that was better for everybody. And then we toyed with the idea of like, oh, if you ally with everyone, then you can do a thing.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
if you
we never. It was just there were too many questions and too many edge cases. It was just like, it just didn't seem like a good fit.
Yeah. What I would love to see us do is sovereign specific ones.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, the tyrant,
Can do
you get to take over the world,
Right.
or something.
Right. So, yeah. Which we originally had, and then we gave it to everybody. It's tough. I mean, like, could we do it? We could totally do it. Again, it's
That's
easier.
more of a post 1.0 thing at this point.
It's easier for us to do that. Again, it's better for us to do that than add like different Sorcerer King stuff, though, right? Because if we keep it all on the one side, it makes it easier. So, anyway, that's what's going on. I'm just chuckling at chat. Sorry. That's pretty much my word for the week, I think. Beta drop later this afternoon. You guys be able to play it tonight, hook it up. Give us feedback, please. We love it. We love it. We love it. It helps us so much. I'm really curious to see what people think. Because like I said, I'm really happy with it. I mean, we're not done, but
we're getting there. We're near the finish line at this point. So
So all right, cool. Well, hey, what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow is Off-World in the morning. Yep. Friday is Galciv. And then we're off the following week because Stardock is closed for the 4th, which thanks, Brad. Holler at that. I'm going to be doing a lot of housework, actually.
Actually, I will probably come in a couple of those days just to polish a few things here and there.
I'm probably going to play a bunch of SK.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But
we need right now. It's like playing and tweaking is the name of the game for the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. So cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys. You guys are an awesome community, and we are lucky to have you. And we appreciate you coming by the Twitch and checking stuff out. And